Good evening and welcome to the evening news. I am Omotayo Adebodo. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has vowed to tackle vote buying in the forthcoming election in partnership with the Independent Corrupt Practices Commission and the Economic and Financial Crime Commission. The commission described votes in exchange for money as a cankerworm that has eaten deep in the country's political system. The INEC Resident Electoral Commissioner in Rivers State, Johnson Sekeme, stated this while addressing journalists, adding that the electoral body has sensitized the youth in various villages in the country to monitor and report anyone involved in vote buying. Mr. Sekeme, who was represented by the head Voters Education and Publicity Mark Usulo, said the new Electoral Act that anyone found with another person's permanent voter's card risk a jail term. He said the security agencies, especially the Nigerian Police and the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, had been briefed to watch out for people in possession of illegal material, calling on the media to ensure accurate reportage of INEC activities before, during, and after the general election to ensure free, fair, credible, and peaceful polls. The Pan-Yoruba Social Political Organization Afenifere has warned politicians over the increasing verbal and physical attacks characterizing election campaign in various parts of the country. In a statement by its National Publicity Secretary, Jare Ajayi, Afenifere urged political parties and their candidates to focus on issues regarding how they would tackle the myriad of challenges that the country was facing rather than coming up with utterances and actions that borders on demarketing of opponents and possibly causing bodily harm on other people. Ajayi submitted that the verbal attack emanating from some candidates and their spokesperson were encouraging their supporters to violently attack opponents in a manner that could result in bloodshed. Expressing various concerns over the escalating violence in spite of various peace accords being signed by presidential candidates and others, the group said a research organization has revealed that 27 Nigerians were killed in 57 politically motivated violence incidents between January and December 2022. There have been some other attacks since then, including the ones that have happened in Osun, Ogun, Imo, Ebonyi, Abia, and Enugu State, among others. The statement added that candidates and political parties that have good programs to execute would not result in verbal or physical attacks. The Minister of Special Duty and Intergovernmental Affairs, George Akume, says the federal government has identified 9 areas of priority and formulated a policy to ensure easy implementation. According to the minister, the identified 9 priority areas included building a sustainable economy, enhancing social inclusion, reducing poverty, and enlarging agricultural output for food, among others. Akume, who was represented by the Permanent Secretary of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, Ibene Robert, spoke at the inaugural award ceremony for civil servants in Abuja, added that the federal government in the last 3 years has made a concerted effort to improve the living condition of citizens. He explained that the federal government has enlarged agricultural output for food security and exports, attained energy sufficiency in power and petroleum products, and expand transport and other infrastructural development, expands business growth, entrepreneurship, industrialization, and improved security. Osun State Governor Senator Ademola Jackson Nuruddin Adeleke has assured the investors and people of the state of the commitment of his administration towards the pursuit of an enabling business environment that would make the state more viable, economically buoyant, and sustainable. The governor, who was represented by the Secretary to the State Government, Honorable Teslim Igbalaye, stated this while flagging off the Osun Trade Fair 2022, noted that the state will key into the African Continental Trade Fair area, which is poised to deliver great benefit in terms of job creation, growth, and poverty reduction. In their separate addresses of welcome, the President of Osun State Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines, and Agriculture, and the Coordinating Director, Ministry of Commerce, Industry, Cooperative and Empowerment, Mrs. Kinde Odedino, stated that the AFETAF promised broader and deeper economic integration that would attract investment, boost trade, provide better jobs, reduce poverty, and increase shared prosperity in Africa through anticipated foreign direct investment. The Osun Trade Fair, with the theme leveraging on African continental trade areas for enhancing SME growth and the sub-national level, was organized by the Osun State Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture in collaboration with the Ministry of Commerce, Cooperatives and Empowerment. The federal government has reviewed its ban on charcoal exports, placed suspension on the exportation of processed wood and other allied products. The Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora Standing Committee has suspended commercial trade in the African rosewood from Nigeria for authorizing over 180,000 m3 of the precious timbers to China and Vietnam. The suspension from the site primarily informed the decision of the former Minister of Environment, Dr. Muhammad Abubakar, to place a ban on the export of charcoal and suspension of the export of the processed and semi-processed wood in 2018 and 2020 respectively. Dr. Abdullahi disclosed in Abuja that the activity had destroyed the nation's rich biodiversity at yearly hike and forest loss. About 20 African head of state and private sector leaders are among the 1,500 delegates meeting in Dakar, Senegal this week for a high-level discussion on roadmap for achieving food sovereignty in the continent. The summit was organized by the African Development Bank Group with the theme Feeding Africa, Food Security and Resilience. The three-day meeting under the auspices of the second edition of the Feed Africa Summit Dakar 2 lays out action-driven discourse on how the head of state would mobilize government resources and leverage development partnership and private sectors financing the harnessing African food and agriculture potentials to turn advocacy efforts in contracted actions. Social Rights and Accountability Project has sued President Muhammadu Buhari and 3 others at the Federal High Court in Lagos over failure to reverse the increase in electricity tariff. SERAP is also suing the president over a probe of spending public funds as investments and bailouts to DISCO power distribution companies and generation companies since 2005. Joined in the suit as respondents are Attorney General of the Federation and the Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami, Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission, and the Nigeria Bulk Electricity Trading PLC. And on sports, Nigeria's Ridwan Scorpion Oyekola has continued to dominate headlines in Japanese boxing circle as he recorded a first-round knockout in a boxing show tagged Okinawa Mayhem. Scorpion's opponent was Menat Sopatit from Thailand. Report says during the volume 19 of the boxing event, Sopatit fell twice within 90 seconds of the first round before a right-hand hook punch from Scorpion in the second minute floored him in signal to end the much publicized bout. The victory has capitulated Ridwan's Scorpion from within 100th position to close to first 10 spots in the super featherweight division in the world. And on the foreign scene, a massive power breakdown in Pakistan has affected most of the country's more than 220 million people, including the mega city in Karachi and Lahore. The hours-long outrage, the second in the past 2 years, was caused by the fault in the national grid. According to reports, the system frequency dropped at the national grid in the morning, which led to a massive breakdown. Reports added that Pakistan electricity distribution system is a complex and delicate web, and a probe in one section of the grid can lead to a cascading breakdown across the country. And that ends the evening news on Osbc TV. Join us at 7 for the major reports. Good evening.